Tonight on CTV News at 6. Northern visit.
To put his elbows up, handle Trump, negotiate a win, and have a deal by July 21st.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre makes a stop in Sault Ste. Marie. How did it happen? A coroner's inquest into 5 deaths at a First Nations community near Hearst. And at a police board meeting,
99% are fixed costs of our budget, mostly with salaries and benefits.
The police budget in Sudbury goes up by almost 13%.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you decided to be with us on this Wednesday. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is on a brief tour of Northern Ontario. Kicking it off in Sault Ste. Marie, Poilievre had 2 stops today, touring a housing project being constructed and SIS Manufacturing. The company is an international supplier of industrial and construction-related steel products and services. Poilievre spoke to some of the 65 employees and took a walk in their shoes, trying out some of the equipment. The Conservative leader, joined by former Sault Ste. Marie Algoma candidate Hugh Stevenson, then addressed workers on a number of topics before taking questions from the SIS employees. Poilievre also took aim at the Prime Minister and corporate carbon tax when addressing the media.
He promised to put his elbows up, handle Trump, negotiate a win, and have a deal by July 21st. Still no deal, still no win, still no elbows, and the only thing that's up are American tariffs on Canada since the Prime Minister took office.
And Poilievre toured the 9-story construction development being undertaken by Saldan Construction to wrap up his visit to the Soo. A coroner's inquest began today in Constance Lake First Nation near Hearst. It is examining the deaths of 5 people who died during a blastomycosis outbreak between 2021 and 2022. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
From November 2021 to January 2022, a blastomycosis outbreak spread across Constance Lake First Nation, a community of approximately 750 people living on reserve. The outbreak affected more than 50 individuals and claimed the lives of Luke Moore, Lorraine Shaganash, Lizzie Sutherland, Mark Ferris, and Douglas Taylor. As the inquest began, presiding officer Dr. Michael Wilson extended his condolences in his opening statement, acknowledging how difficult the process would be for the families and the community, saying the hope is to learn from past events and build towards a better future. He added the inquest is not to assign blame or legal ramifications. 5 jurors will listen to evidence to answer 5 critical questions about the deceased, including the who, when, where, how, and by what means they died. The inquest will also examine broader factors that contributed to the tragedy, including whether the healthcare experience of First Nations people was impacted by their Indigenous identity and place of residence. Additionally, the jury can also provide recommendations which will be shared with levels of government, agencies, and organizations to prevent a similar tragedy from touching this community again. The Anishinaabe Aski Nation expressed its support for Constance Lake First Nation in a statement, saying in part, "This deadly lung infection continues to pose serious risk to the community, and we look forward to understanding more about what, if anything, can be done to prevent similar tragedies from occurring." The first 3 days of the inquest will be held at the Community Hall in Constance Lake First Nation, with the remainder held virtually. Approximately 30 witnesses will share their accounts during the 25-day inquest. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Charges have been laid in connection to a sudden death at the Algoma Treatment and Remand Center in Sault Ste. Marie. Police were called to the correctional facility last Wednesday to investigate the sudden death of a 25-year-old in custody. Their investigation revealed the victim and a 40-year-old were arguing when the older man began punching and stomping on the victim. The 25-year-old was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. A 40-year-old man has been charged with second-degree murder. Police in North Bay are looking for help in locating a suspect in connection to an assault on Main Street East. Police say they were called to the parking lot at TD Bank on Monday around 4 p.m. The victim suffered serious injuries believed to be caused by a blow to the back of the head. The victim was transported to hospital Police are asking anyone with information or video to call police or Crime Stoppers. A call about a possible impaired ATV driver has led to a 20-year-old man getting hit with 7 different offenses. On October 3rd, OPP responded to a parking lot on Government Road in Kapuskasing. When they attempted to pull the driver over, he fled the scene, driving through a fence and hitting a construction pylon at high speed. And the driver is now facing multiple charges and has had his license suspended for 30 days. Police say there was no evidence the driver was impaired. Provincial police in Sudbury are seeking the public's assistance in locating a driver who failed to remain at the scene of a collision Friday. Police are looking for the driver of a white Ram 1500 pickup truck. Police believe this truck was involved in a 3-vehicle collision on Highway 17 near 2nd Avenue in the community of Coniston. The pickup truck was traveling west and struck the vehicle in front of it, pushing that vehicle into another. The truck then pulled around the 2 vehicles and headed west toward the Kingsway. Anyone with information or dash cam footage should contact police or Crime Stoppers. From training to salaries and benefits, Greater Sudbury Police Service is seeking approval of its 2026-27 budget. It was unanimously approved by the board today. CTV's Lindsay Alick was there.
The 2026 budget will see a 12.6% increase from $83.4 million in 2025 to over $94 million in 2026. Police Chief Sarah Cunningham says it's a very lean budget, but it is a significant increase, which she says is largely due to 4 collective agreements expiring this year.
99% are fixed costs of our budget, mostly with salaries and benefits. And so, again, we came in as lean as we could, not increasing our overtime budget, which we probably should have.
The chief says every year the police service has gone to the board to ask to increase contributions to debt finance a future facility, but this year decided to leave it out. This will also be the first time the service dips into reserves, pulling out $720,000.
There's huge expectations right now with regard to policing, the homeless issues, the panhandling, the issues of speed cameras, not having them anymore. So we've got to look forward to the next 2 years of making sure that we are able to provide that policing. Our police service is that the #1 pillar for our police service is its members. This budget properly compensates the members, it provides the appropriate equipment for the members, and it very much will make sure that the community feels safer and more accessible to police officers that need to be there.
Over $698,000 will go towards training, much of which is being mandated.
We have some very specialized officers, from our emergency response unit to our detectives, all needing specialized training. However, we're also seeing an increase in just our general patrol officers needing specialized training, from drug recognition experts to even some courses under the new Community Safety and Policing Act.
The chief feels the service has done a good job of sending someone to be a train-the-trainer to save on costs. As for 2027, the police budget will increase by 8.6%, from $94 million in 2026 to over $102 million. The budget still needs to be approved by City Council. Chief Cunningham and Board Chair Lougheed will present it during the November 12th meeting. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
A little sun and cloud on this Wednesday. When is the rain coming? To tell us more, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. By the way, happy birthday.
Well, thank you, Tony. I'm still sticking around, and you know what? I'll outlast this pending rain that we're going to have here in northeastern Ontario. Thank you for the birthday greetings. Forecast radar will get that rain by Friday. It's emanating from at least Wyoming, bordering on Montana, coming through the Great Lakes, and it will bring plenty of rain to northeastern Ontario. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. How about that? We'll have some details coming up a little bit later on. Tony's 7-day forecast, and if all days were like today, I'd be in heaven. It's a great day to have a birthday. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Controversy continues to dog a Sault Ste. Marie City Councillor. Still to come on CTV News at 6. What is she in hot water over? Before we get to that story, this is a live webcam shot of the waterfront in Parry Sound. This is courtesy of Northern Creations. It's 12 degrees. We will return in just a few minutes.
Tonight, a demand for answers.
How the hell did that get into New Zealand?
An innocent young man dead from meth disguised as Canadian beer.
You have the right to remain silent.
Arrests in New Zealand, but W5 is on the hunt for the Canadian criminals who exported the drugs. W5 investigates tonight on CTV National News and CTVNews.ca.
Time now for a look at the mayor's chair. Once a week, we check in with local mayors to see what's happening in their community and some of the situations they're dealing with. Joining us tonight in the mayor's chair is Chris Hope from Burk's Falls. Mayor Hope, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Ian. Great to be with you.
Great to have you. Let's start with one of the big things I think I noticed over the course of the summer and even to a degree in the past winter. The weather in Algonquin Highlands, along this stretch of Highway 11 has just been wild lately. How are you and the rest of the residents coping? And you got to be pretty proud of some of the public works crews you've had out there.
They've done a fantastic job this spring. You know, we're Northerners. We're used to big challenges when it comes to weather. But, I mean, Mother Nature sure threw a lot of curveballs our way this spring. And especially further south, where they had some incredible drops of snow that we didn't get, oddly enough. But the crews were fantastic, and things got cleaned up very well. We had very little downtime when it came to electric power either. The crews were really quick to fix things.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Mother Nature let up on you guys, so hopefully she gives you a little bit of a break. As you mentioned, highway safety in that area, or the highway in that area, there's a big stretch of Highway 11 where there's a lot of different issues, particularly for your counterparts on Highway 11. I realize 11 looks a little different where you are, but is it a factor for residents in Burk's Falls? And what do you think the MTO could be doing better?
Hey, you know, we're one of the first communities you hit in Northern Ontario. And the weather and the culture seems to change the moment you enter, and it shapes our lives up here. There's a bit of a saying up here, you either, as a Northerner, you either learn to get along with Mother Nature or she kills you. And so that's basically how we operate here. But again, the challenges we saw with the highway, with railways and all that sort of stuff, we were able to get through, but it sure was a very strange year for weather.
Infrastructure has been a big issue. I know you're not too far from Trail Creek, and Powassan's been doing what it can to keep the doors of the arena open. Powassan by no means alone on this front. A lot of municipalities facing similar situations. What do you think the solution is here?
The solution is probably more efficiency over the long haul between communities. I know in the case of our arenas, we work closely with Sundridge and South River, our neighboring communities, to cover ourselves whenever we need service on the arena. If we have a Zamboni breakdown, we often talk to each other. Sometimes when people take holidays, we lend workers to help them. So it's up to councils to find good ways to cooperate and find more efficiencies to keep our services open. I know Trout Creek and Powassan, they will rise to the challenge.
I know the community is typically also big with tourism. I'm down to the last 30 seconds or so, but how did the summer go?
The summer went very, very well. Burk's Falls is, as I say, the gateway to Northern Ontario when you're coming from the south, of course. And we noticed that this year there were a lot more people coming up from Southern Ontario. And incredibly, we're having more families move here because the quality of life is changing in the north. And the comparisons before between Southern Ontario and Northern Ontario, they've changed, and those arguments have changed, and we're finding that families are returning to the north because of quality of life.
That's really great to hear, and especially because you have such a beautiful stretch there of Highway 11. Mayor Hope, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ian. Great to talk to you.
You as well. That's Mayor Chris Hope from Burk's Falls.
Thanks for that, Ian. Comments related to the death of American podcaster Charlie Kirk continue to stir up controversy at Sault Ste. Marie City Council. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
It's been over a month since comments from Sioux City Councillor Angela Caputo started controversy. On September 12th, 2 days after the death of Charlie Kirk, Caputo addressed those who stated their advocacy for the American podcaster, in part saying, quote, "You're not speaking up for injustice, you're speaking for white supremacy, misogyny, and racism. I am sorry that another human being was shot. That's horrifying. I use my vote and my voice to try to make sure acts of gun violence don't happen, but Charlie did not." 3 anonymous complaints were submitted to the city clerk last month, leading to an investigation from the Integrity Commissioner. The estimated cost of the inquiry is roughly $15,000. Councillor Stephen Kinnock alluded to Caputo's resignation as a way to avoid that cost.
If the councillor resigns, that would bring the investigation to an end and would avoid the estimated $15,000 for an investigation.
I understand that if I was spreading hate speech, that I should be held accountable regardless. I do not believe that anything that I said was hateful or untrue.
Sioux councillors had a number of concerns with the investigation, including that much of those opposing Councillor Caputo's words on Kirk were not locals.
When this occurred, councillors, including myself, were in receipt of probably dozens of emails that were signed not with just signatures, but with geographic locations outside of Sault Ste. Marie.
Pat King from the Freedom Convoy grabbed the petition that was being put around and reshared it to his page.
Caputo says she stands by her words and will not be resigning over this incident. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Timmins City Council has provided staff with direction on the much-debated Leo Del Villano Park. The park was a hot topic at Council over the summer as councillors and staff debated how to expand the park's offerings. At the meeting last night, Council has chosen to overhaul and expand the existing tennis courts to include 2 pickleball courts and the repositioning of the soccer field to the south end of the park. Staff has also been directed to explore adding a permanent outdoor rink that can be used year-round for skating in the winter and ball hockey in the summer. The city of Elliott Lake says it's moving forward in reopening the doors of its arena. According to city officials, the micro-pile work on the foundation is now finished, with the remaining concrete work scheduled to be complete within the next few weeks. While this is underway, firm Perry & Perry has been coordinating the remaining design. And Timmins City Council has just ratified a new 4-year collective agreement with CUPE Local 1544 on behalf of Timmins Transit. The agreement will see transit mechanics receive a base rate adjustment of 8%, drivers 4.5%, maintenance 1%, plus a 3% yearly increase for the length of the contract. Other items agreed to include holiday pay, optical coverage, safety footwear, and vacation enhancements. Bus service, paratransit service, and the Northern College Express will resume October 18th. A tentative contract has been reached between the College Employer Council and striking full-time support workers. The strike began nearly 5 weeks ago with 10,000 workers from Ontario's 24 public colleges walking off the job. The union is presenting the offer to workers today, and those workers will return to work tomorrow. The chair of the bargaining committee for the union says the strike not only helped it secure a better deal, but it educated the public on what she says is the deliberate defunding of public colleges by the Ford government. Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Okay, Tony, this is the last real night, I guess, in terms of, well, good weather, because tomorrow night there's going to be a change across northeastern Ontario, all due to this system moving in by early Friday. Some precipitation Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday ad nauseum. And again, we'll get to that in the 7-day forecast. Now let's check out our current temperatures across the northeast. There's only rain in a few locales. Moosonee, some light rain there. Cochrane 8. Timmins, some sunshine. Kapuskasing, some sun and cloud. Nice night. It continues. Chapleau as well at 10. Wawa 10. And Sault Ste. Marie at 12. All sunny skies. Parry Sound at 12. Down Highway 69. In North Bay, sun and cloud. Temiskaming Shores, sunshine. And Kirkland Lake with sun and cloud as well. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, some sun and cloud and 12. Espanola 13. Elliott Lake, sunshine and 12. And Gore Bay at 12 as well. We'll check out the pick of the day coming up and your 7-day forecast, Tony, in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. Is it a sign of the times? Next on CTV News at 6. Automaker Stellantis is moving its Jeep production from Brampton to Illinois. And the head of the Ontario Human Rights Commission is in North Bay. The Business Development Bank of Canada announced a $100 million initiative today to reach more business owners living in rural and remote areas. CTV's Lydia Chubak has more from
The Business Development Bank of Canada announced a new initiative that will give entrepreneurs greater access to financing to grow their businesses. The opportunity will be available through community futures organizations like the Venture Centre in Timmins, and it's to help entrepreneurs, particularly those in rural and remote communities.
Now, through this program, the financing that you can get through community futures goes up to $500,000.
This is really going to allow us to have access to additional funds for us to be able to lend out to our community businesses and without depleting all of the small amount of investment funds that we have. So we're able to partner up with the BDC funds and make a bigger impact with the funds that are available.
We went to see every bank. And they just look at us like, how do you sell your dream to a bank? I know.
Sebastian Maloche owns a welding and fabrication shop in Timmins and says accessing funds through the Venture Centre during the COVID-19 pandemic is the main reason he was able to expand his business.
The Venture Centre gave us a loan, and the BDC, I think, secured our mortgage and all that for that shop, which was a big deal. Like, to us, a $2 million shop, when you're a small business like that, it's still big numbers in today for me, right?
The BDC says it's reaching more places across the country with this initiative through 267 community futures offices. It's contributing $100 million for the loans that will be shared 50-50 with community futures.
We're looking at up to $250 million in GDP impact over 5 years, so that's very exciting for the Canadian economy.
The new program will be rolled out over the next few months, and the Venture Centre suggests business owners get in touch with the office to be ready when the funds become available. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Businesses in Sault Ste. Marie are getting a boost from FedNor. MP Terry Sheehan announced today the Sault Innovation Centre would be receiving more than $950,000 for the Innovation Acceleration Program. The funding will allow the centre to offer $25,000 for projects, as well as host workshops and networking events. The centre also received more than $750,000 to provide artificial intelligence training and technology adaptation to small and medium-sized businesses. Terry Sheehan also talked about the Regional Tariff Response Initiative, a national investment of $1 billion from the federal government. Eligible northern businesses can apply for that program through FedNor. It's devastating news for thousands of auto workers with word that production of a vehicle set to be made in Brampton will be moved to Illinois. Stellantis had temporarily paused work in the midst of the tariff war between Canada and the U.S. CTV Sean Leathong has that story.
The Stellantis Brampton assembly plant, sitting idle since February, has been dealt a severe blow. Production of the Jeep Compass will be moved to the United States.
Disrespectful and disgusting behavior by the company.
The 3,000 Unifor Local 1285 members finding out yesterday afternoon through robocall, the same time as union management.
It's very concerning. We're worried about our plant, but at the end of the day, the company's committed in writing at bargaining to this plant.
Since 2024, the Brampton plant was retooling for the new Jeep SUV. That was put on pause after U.S. President Donald Trump took office. Today, workers we spoke to were too nervous to comment. A restaurant called That Italian Place, located across the street from the Brampton plant, has no shortage of opinions.
The government bailed out all the auto workers section, 10 years ago? And now they're taking and going because Trump, well, someone's got to stand up to this guy. And it's all three of our governments have failed.
Never mind the direct jobs, there's lots of indirect jobs. This cafeteria, for example, this restaurant, it'll have an impact here. Right?
And the owner says business has slowed this past year.
It's devastating for the area. It's devastating for all the business around the area.
And experts say the knock-on effect will be felt throughout the Canadian auto industry.
There's also hundreds of millions of dollars of
investment in parts manufacturer that supply that plant.
Now production is moving to a plant in Belvedere, Illinois, whose mayor is celebrating the job growth.
This project has been a long time coming. I've always been hopeful that we would have good news, and this is actually great news.
Job growth coming at the cost of the Brampton facility.
It's going to hurt. It's going to sting. So when we, express concerns about these Trump tariffs, it's real families that are affected.
Unifor National President Lana Payne saying today this is a clear casualty in Donald Trump's trade war.
And Donald Trump has been very clear from the beginning that he was coming for our auto jobs.
Now, Sean Leathong reporting, and there's more news still ahead. But first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Where's my cake? You mentioned my birthday moments ago. Where's the cake?
I don't know.
We're going to have to come up with a cake one of these days, Tony. Forecast radar, not too pleasant for the birthday people on the weekend. We've got some rain in the forecast. Of course, that system moving in by Friday after a day of sunshine for tomorrow. Take a look. This is what it's going to look like at 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday and continuing right through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday. We'll get into that momentarily. Overnight conditions clear in Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie clear, increasing clouds in Timmins. Temiskaming Shores clear and North Bay clear as well. Meanwhile, in Moosonee, mostly cloudy. Kapuskasing-Hearst, chance of showers, clear. Wawa, Gore Bay, and Perry Sound. Now we've got the numbers. Sudbury Nickel Belt. Mainly sunny and 12 tomorrow, but that all changes. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Rain in some form, chance of showers, rain, chance of showers, more chance of showers, and your temperatures varying from 10 to 16 degrees. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, sunshine tomorrow at 15, and pretty well a carbon copy of Sudbury's forecast. Rain for no less than 5 consecutive days. 14, 16, 13, dropping down to 10, cooling down by Tuesday of next week. And those temperatures above and slightly below normal over the course of the next couple of days. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, sun and cloud tomorrow at 11. Nice day, but that changes. Showers, chance of showers, rain, chance of showers, and chance of showers again. Too numerous to mention. 17, 14, 11, and cooling off at 10. And again, even that 10 degrees, slightly above normal for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, sun and cloud tomorrow at 11. Showers for a couple of days, 10 and 17. 15 with the rain on Sunday. Monday, chance of showers. More of the same on Tuesday at 60%. Daytime high of around 11. And that temperature above normal for this time of the year. But it will be normal by next Wednesday with the sunshine. North Bay, West Nipissing. Here we go. Sunshine and 12 tomorrow. Chance of showers on Friday. Rain Saturday and Sunday. Monday, Tuesday. Here we go. Chance of showers both days. 40 and 60%. Your temperatures 13 and 11. And that's what you're supposed to be getting at this time of the year. The normal for North Bay and West Nipissing should be at around 11 degrees. Let's have a peek now at our pick of the day. Trevor Bush, a regular contributor to this program, managed to snag this one just a couple of days ago. It's a train track near Powassan. So Trevor, love the angle, love the foliage, and again, certainly indicative of the fine weather that we've experienced over the course of the last couple of days, but that's going to change. Stick around. Tony has more news after the break.
If you pay a bill and there's not enough money in your account to cover a transaction, you could get hit with a non-sufficient funds charge known as an NSF fee. The fees have been a major cause of frustration for some because even if your account is $1 short, you could have to pay a $48 penalty. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
I think that I'm not the only one that's dealing with this.
Elvira Townsend of Surrey, BC says she always tries to pay her bills on time, but recently her bank balance dropped to minus $9. She was immediately charged an NSF fee of $48, putting her account $57 in arrears.
I was very stressed out because I'm on disability and right now money is very tight.
Townsend says she applied for overdraft protection in the past, but her bank denied her because she had a lower credit score.
I know there's a lot of people struggling. I'm struggling, and that $48 is a lot.
Currently, Canada's major banks charge $45 to $48 per NSF transaction. The charges have helped banks profit billions of dollars since they were first implemented.
These fees tend to hit the people who can least afford them.
Changes to the fees will happen March 12th of next year. There will be a $10 cap on NSF fees. Banks can't charge more than one NSF fee within 72 hours. There can be no NSF fee if an account is short by less than $10, and banks must alert customers and give them time to deposit funds before charging an NSF fee. The Credit Counseling Society says 34% of Canadians are charged with at least one NSF fee each year.
We're talking about over $600 million worth of money staying in people's pockets, so it's pretty huge.
This is something positive.
Acorn Canada, a group that advocates for low and moderate income people, has been fighting for the reforms. Well, it says lowering the fees from $48 to $10 is a good start. It says Canadian banks should follow the lead of American banks. Many have scrapped NSF fees altogether.
We should be taken off completely, like they did in USA. And the banks are still going. The banks are still making profit.
Townsend is hopeful more changes can be made to help her and others be eligible for overdraft protection. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Algoma University announced a new master's program today. The Master of Psychotherapy program, soon to be offered at Algoma, is a first for Northern Ontario. The program planning lead, Taryn Bruni, says the new courses have been tailored for practice in the North and took guidance from local voices. Last year, Algoma University brought together mental health leaders and partners, including Indigenous leaders, to consult on the program. Applications are now open for the Master of Psychotherapy graduate degree. It's one of 6 graduate degrees Algoma University offers. And the good news continues for all Northern Ontario universities as Maclean's Magazine's annual university rankings came out recently. Lakehead, Laurentian, Nipissing, and Algoma universities ranked in the top 20 for primarily undergraduate universities. Lakehead University in Thunder Bay was the highest ranked of the 4 schools at number 6 and rated in the top 10 in most of the subcategories like student awards and student to faculty ratio. Laurentian University in Sudbury came in 16th, Nipissing in North Bay at 18th, and Algoma University in the Sioux rounded out the top 20. The Airport Management Council of Ontario announced its new executive board today, and a familiar face has been elected. Its new president, Terry Boss, CEO of the Sault Ste. Marie Airport, will serve as the organization's new president. Boss is no stranger to the position. He served as president, treasurer, and vice chair over the last 14 years. The Timmins Chamber of Commerce will have its new policy on the national stage. The Timmins Chamber, in collaboration with Sudbury and Thunder Bay Chambers, put forward a new policy at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce annual general meeting last week. The policy, from ore to opportunity, calls on the federal government to take action on critical mineral exploration and extraction, including mining innovation and the necessary workforce. The National Chamber will now include it in its policy agenda. They served our country. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Veterans, along with servicemen and women, are being recognized in Greater Sudbury. Today is the International Day of Awareness for Pregnancy and Infant Loss. Butterfly Wings Parental Bereavement Services in Sudbury is hosting a vigil for parents to support each other at 14 Beach Street. The nonprofit typically offers support services, but today announcing the message even louder by lighting up the Sudbury Peace Tower in pink and blue in memory of those lost.
There's a lot of suffering in silence, not wanting to make other people uncomfortable. So today is a day where we are going to be more celebrating a little bit our babies and that aspect of our lives. And it's to raise awareness for this cause because 1 out of 4 pregnancies ends in a loss. So it's a really common thing, but still very taboo and a lot of stigma around it.
Pelche says another way of honoring the loss is to light a candle at 7 o'clock, and the different time zones participating will make a 24-hour wave of warmth. Royal Canadian Legion in Greater Sudbury is going to be honoring veterans and servicemen and women with special banners. We get the details from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Leo Frappier and his sister speak fondly of their late father. He served in World War II and is one of the veterans to be highlighted in a new banner program.
People forget people so quickly. And when you have something like this, it's in your face and you remember what it's all about.
Royal Canadian Legion Branch 76 launched Phase 1 of its commemorative banner initiative honoring veterans and active personnel. The banner includes a face, a name, and the conflict served. They'll be displayed along a highly visible area in the city.
You may have a picture at home, but it's just amongst the family. Something like this is going to be out to the public and really enforcing that of the importance of what these men and women did for us in our country, so we're able to live the life that we're living today.
It's about promoting veterans and educating others.
Having These Up is something that just portrays veterans and hopefully has our youth asking questions. What are those, Mom? This is why we want to do this and publicize what we're doing.
Sudbury is community number 47 in Ontario to adopt the commemorative banners. 22 will be posted this year. Families can request banners for their loved ones to be erected in future years. The cost is $300, which covers the creation of the banner, the hardware needed, and its installation.
On an annual basis after this, they'll be put up from October 1st through November 12th. So once Remembrance Day is over, then they would come down. And after that, on a monthly basis, we're going to be displaying them here on the wall inside.
By later this week, 10 of the commemorative banners will be hanging from light poles like this one along this busy stretch of the Kingsway. The other dozen will be erected in Memorial Park in downtown Sudbury. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Chief Commissioner of the Ontario Human Rights Commission was in North Bay today for a presentation at the Indigenous Friendship Centre to address discrimination. More now from CTV's Eric Tashner.
The Chief Commissioner of the Ontario Human Rights Commission says it's our duty to advocate and push to end discrimination in society.
Human rights can be sustained and advanced if every individual takes responsibility.
In her speech to representatives from health and wellness organizations, municipal leaders, and education advocates, Patricia Daguerre mentioned that there continues to be discrimination in education and healthcare. Daguerre was invited to speak by a member of the Indigenous Reconciliation Advisory Group, a committee within the Commission.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we're all part of the human circle.
The Human Rights Commission's mandate is to foster and protect human rights and to promote eliminating discrimination in today's society. Daguerre has been the Chief Commissioner since August 2021.
Knowing about our human rights and the knowledge, yeah, it was a great day of sharing.
After the Supreme Court of Canada decided in 2012 that learning to read was a human right, the Commission concluded that Ontario was not fulfilling its obligation to teach minority children or children with disabilities the right to learn literacy.
We will use our mandate to ensure that we leave a legacy for all our children to enhance their education.
When it comes to healthcare for Indigenous patients, the Commission met with friendship centres and other organizations in Northern Ontario to get feedback on its current state. A report titled What We Heard is going to be released in 2026.
The Ontario Human Rights Commission believes that before we address needs in the communities, we must consult, we must collaborate.
Within the healthcare system, they are making changes, which is really good, and I believe it's because of the Human Rights Commission.
Daguerre adds that part of the Commission's plan to foster a human rights culture in Ontario is driven by individual community action to create a healthy society. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
To the OHL now, and just one Northern team is going to see action. The Sioux Greyhounds are home to the Saginaw Spirit this evening. The Hounds sit second in the West Division, while the Spirit are just 4 points behind them. Game time at GFL Memorial Gardens is 7:07. The hopes of Canadians are riding on a win tonight from the Toronto Blue Jays. After the Jays failed twice to come up with a win at home, they desperately need a road win. As CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, there will be a lot of Toronto fans in the building.
The Jays have a lot on the line. At risk of going down 3 games to none, they could use all of the crowd support they can get, and they'll find it here in Seattle, which over the years has become almost a home away from home. Thousands of Toronto Blue Jays fans have made the road trip over the border and down the I-5 from Metro Vancouver to cheer on Canada's team when they need it most.
Little nervous. Fingers crossed for today, though. I have faith in them.
But you still feel good?
I do. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, I feel happy. Yeah.
Are we calling a win tonight?
Hopefully, yeah.
Others are arriving on the water. A special ferry sailing added for fans to make the trip from BC's capital.
We're pretty excited. This is our first game that I'm taking her to.
The last 2 games, they just didn't have their bats quite on. They just need to score some more runs.
Over the years, Jays fans have sometimes even outnumbered Seattle Mariners fans in their own ballpark. So the locals here know what's coming.
It's not too far from the border, so we're probably expecting a lot of them from Vancouver out here.
There are also plenty of Mariners fans in BC. They're here too. After 2 home losses to start the series, the odds are not on Toronto's side, with Seattle fans salivating over being 2 wins away from the club's first ever World Series berth. Tonight's Game 3, Game 4, and Game 5, if necessary, will all be played here at T-Mobile Park. Toronto will need to take 2 out of 3 on enemy territory to bring this ALCS back to Rogers Centre. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Seattle. Taylor Swift's latest album claims a new record, and a new documentary showcases the life and career of an Oscar-winning actress. David Daniel has those stories and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
The eldest daughter of a nobleman, Ophelia lived in fantasy.
Taylor Swift is living at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. The 12 songs on The Life of a Showgirl fill the top 12 spots on the chart, led by The Fate of Ophelia. It's the first album ever to place all of its songs in an uninterrupted string at the top of the chart.
Keep remembering things that are gone. It makes me feel like there are things we lost that I'll never remember, you know?
Here's a look at the first trailer for Rebuilding. Josh O'Connor plays a cowboy who loses his ranch to a wildfire, then finds family and community as he tries to recover. Rebuilding opens in select theaters November 14th and across the U.S. November 21st. A tribute to a trailblazer. Marlee Matlin, Not Alone Anymore, explores the life and career of the actress, author, and accessibility advocate. The American Masters documentary, made by deaf and hearing collaborators and shown primarily in ASL with stylized captioning, is now streaming on pbs.org. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We got another look at how American tariffs are affecting Canada. Manufacturing sales for August dropped by 1%. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that.
Sales fell in 12 of the 21 subsectors tracked by Statistics Canada, coming in at $69.4 billion. And that's a drop from the July number of $70.3 billion. Transportation equipment had the steepest decline, with fewer aerospace parts, vehicles, and car parts produced. Food sales also dropped, with less grain and dairy production. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar really didn't change. It ended the day at 71.19. West Texas Intermediate crude barely budged. It sits at 58.72. Western Canadian Select up a dime to 47.87. And the TSX moved up another 283 points today for another record high close. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $63.83, closing the day at $42.0822 US an ounce. Silver up $1.54 to end the day at $53.06. Copper moved ahead by a penny to $4.83. And nickel slipped a cent, ending the day at $6.79 US a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at your Thursday weather.
One last round of sunshine, Tony. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures across northeastern Ontario before the rain rolls in. 12 in Greater Sudbury, Timmins, some sun and cloud at 11. Sault Ste. Marie, mainly sunny at 15 for tomorrow. Beautiful day. North Bay at 12, Parry Sound 14, and Temiskaming Shores, some sun and cloud at 11. So, Tony, the rain will start overnight going into Friday and will continue right through. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. Not a pleasant weekend, but it's got to fall sometime. Back to you.
How true. Thanks, Rick. And finally, students uncovered a twice-buried time capsule at a Sudbury elementary school. CTV's Madison Merrier digs out the story.
In 2000, Madame Linda buried treasures, creating a new school tradition.
Our students wanted to do something special for the millennium, so they decided to do a time capsule for 10 years. So it was brought back up in 2010, and at the time, it was decided as a school that we wanted to wait 15 years this time. So here we are in 2025.
After opening the capsule, students were able to see the now graduated students' mementos from the past, even including a Carby science experiment.
I felt a little nervous because they were also digging up an old time capsule that's been in there for 25 years. So it was a little energetic, but also a little worrying to see what they actually put in there.
I see a lot of pictures of old families that used to go to the school, and I found it very funny that there's a piece of bread in the time capsule, which is like very funny. So that's my thoughts.
What do you want people to know?
Well, I want them to know that I play soccer, that my favorite color is blue, and that I love math.
The time capsule brought back more than just memories as the retired principal Suzanne Book returned to watch the new generation carry on their tradition.
They're still excited about doing something special. So I have a lot of faith in the new generations coming up, and it will be just as beautiful, I'm sure.
At the end of the day, students reburied the time capsule, leaving behind their gifts that will be rediscovered in 10 years. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
And folks, thanks for watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.